Okay, we're here and we're live, and hopefully everything is working. Welcome back to the Pantsless Podcast. My name is Tamala. With me here today is Northern Savant, Gradigan, and Trevor the Miracle. It's been a while. First of all, let's just say hi to everyone. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome.
Hello. Also,
Hello.
I'm excited to be back. I have not been here since January. And I've never been on this channel. And because we're on another channel, I don't have my usual setup. Because I'm a viewer, not the broadcaster in a sense. Also, this is the first time since November that this group of 4 people have been together on a podcast.
What?
That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, because December we had Dan on. January we were 3 people. And February Sully hosted both episodes.
Oh yeah, look at that.
And 2 weeks ago, massive issues. Don't mind Trevor's camera, by the way, everyone. He works in a smoke den, and
I have my opium den.
yeah, opium den. Yep, that's the one. Anyway, we're gonna talk about a bunch of different things today. We're talking mostly about games. Fucking thankfully, games. But we're also going to talk about the cancellation of E3 that is going to happen this year. Or I mean, already happened. They canceled E3 this year. First of its E3's history, and but we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. First of all, let's fucking jump into it. Hopefully everyone's doing okay, and I mean, I'll probably ask a little bit more about our personal lives once we get to the E3 thing, because it will involve a discussion about the COVID-19 virus by default. But let's jump into it. Let's get the show on the road. So Trevor, as the resident VR guy,
Oh, we're going right into this.
we're going fucking straight like sharks on blood. Let's go.
All
You
right.
have been playing a game.
Yeah, Half-Life Alyx. So first off, I have to say that the only thing that I know about Half-Life, like in general, is like a crowbar has something to do with it, and there's a guy with glasses on the cover sometimes. Like that's the only thing I know about Half-Life. So
So you went into Alyx totally blind.
yeah.
Okay.
Totally blind, have no clue what the hell's going on or anything. But I heard it's a prequel, so I guess that doesn't really matter. But anyway, so with that being said, I think I actually had a unique perspective with it because I didn't have a nostalgia-based bias towards the game. I just kind of looked at it as another VR game that came out. So with that in mind, I kind of I was trying to find the good things and bad things with the game. I'll start with the graphics. For a VR game, probably has the best graphics of any VR game out there. I think that they definitely paved the way on, where the future of gaming should go in VR when it comes to the graphics. Like, I don't know, like it's hard to explain. Like a lot of VR games you do play, like they are kind of bare bones kind of things. There's only a couple out there that I would say like Asgard's Wrath and maybe Walking Dead that are like on par with it graphically. Anyway, so yeah, with that I would say best game graphically. What's some other things? I feel like I got a list. I'm gonna just kind of go down my list. Movement. I gave it a 10 out of 10 with graphics, by the way. Movement, I gave it a 3 out of 10.
Here we go.
Movement in the game is god awful. Today, so for me, I I don't get any nausea at all when I play VR. None at all. Uh, so I like to have my camera be smooth movements. If I want to turn, um, and also I'm in a smaller space, so I don't have a giant room to just start walking around and doing things. So I got to kind of stay in my little 2x2 foot area. Um, I can physically turn a little bit, but not too much because if I turn too much, I get wrapped up in my cords around my legs and stuff. So I always use the joysticks to turn with smooth movement. The game launched, no smooth movement. It only had snap movement, which means basically if I'm looking this way and I hit left on the joystick, my view immediately goes from looking this way to looking this way. Just it's the way I describe it is like if you were like in a strobe light room and you look from here to there real fast, you know, it's just instant movement.
As a
Which
viewer, I hate the snapping too. For viewers, it's very very uncomfortable to watch the snap movement because you don't anticipate it. Like watching VR behind someone else's eyes is a little bit weird in my mind. Like I get a little nauseated from it because you're essentially watching somebody else's movement, and because you don't anticipate any of the movement, everything the player does feels kind of like odd, and the snapping is fucked. I don't
I
like
would
it as a
say
viewer.
the snapping is like it's made for people with nausea to help prevent it because I guess the just the movement of the camera will make some people nauseated, but for me the snapping makes me more nauseated because it's like I'm just seeing images flash in front of my face, of different areas, and depending on the settings you have, um, you may have to hit the left joystick like 3 or 4 times just to turn the direction you want to turn. Um, or you could hit it once and overshoot it because you got the setting too far or whatever. So it's just like you have to be very picky and kind of um, finesse the settings with it to get it where you want it. Anyway, they did release a patch today to fix it. So
So it was a
uh,
bug.
I'm assuming it was a bug. Um, I believe, if I remember correctly, there was an option in the options menu to turn snap off, and it just did nothing.
I've seen that
Which is
option
yeah. So,
live.
but to me, I'm like, also like, how did you miss this? On release, how did you miss? Like, that's a big thing to miss.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Uh,
that's pretty huge.
yeah.
An entire mode of movement.
But I will say, so I played it for maybe 10 minutes with the smooth motion. With the smooth motion, way better. So, but I have to give my opinion on what I've had to play for the past 2 or 3 days, and the movement was awful. Um, what else did I say? Uh, they do give you a lot of options with movement. I mean, it's almost overkill. There's teleporting. There's snap movement. There's like I said, different settings for snap movement. There's different settings on how you want your character to do crouching things. And when I say different set, I mean like 4 or 5 different ways to do things. There's like 4 or 5 different ways just to turn your character. You can turn with the way your head's moving, the way your hands are adjusted. Uh, it's overkill how many options they give you. But I do understand that I think the whole point of their game was to appeal to everyone. So,
Oh, definitely.
um, but to me, it seems like a little overkill. Like even me, like I don't want to say I'm a veteran VR player, but I've played a few, and I was just like, "Fuck, this is a lot of options to look through." um, but what else was there? Your character is a fucking snail. She walks, and there is only walk. You do not run in the game; just walk.
Wow.
You're in the middle of combat. People are shooting at you, and you're like, "Oh, I need to take cover. Let me walk over here." You just walk over to take cover. Um, it really, really detracts from the combat to me. Just because you have to and there's parts where you'll have to say, go from point A to point B, and it's a good little distance, and you're just walking, and your character's just moving so slow, and I'm like, come on, just go, go, go. And I found myself, I never use teleport. I started just using the teleport because you just skip across the map when using that. So it's like forcing me, someone that I don't even want to use this mechanic, to use a mechanic because I can't run over there. And it kind of brings me out of the immersion of VR, which is what it's supposed to, to me, that's what VR is for, is to immerse yourself into the game. Um,
Not to have
also,
the not to have the run included puzzles me a little bit, because either they assume that everyone uses the teleportation, or they think that Alyx is the first VR game everyone plays, and therefore they can have that wow factor from start to finish, and never consider I want to run. I have to
yeah,
believe one of those two options, because why
honestly,
not
I think
include it?
from what I've read, I think that they started making a VR game expecting it not to be anything that big. And then it kind of was like, oh, this is going to be a big game. And they had to implement things last minute. That's what I feel like when I play the game. I feel like they had to implement. So, like, I just feel like they were like, oh, well, we don't have run. And they're like, oh, fuck it. Good.
Fuck it. That's the meeting concluded. 3
There's
weeks
just a
before
lot
launch.
of things in the game that I'm like, why is this not here? Why is this here? And and it just doesn't make any sense. I'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, so I found myself teleporting, and also the teleport can be exploited. I found out, like, there's some areas in the game where it's almost like a parkour kind of thing. There's no jump in the game. You don't jump, but you have to like walk across beams and stuff. Well, if you're walking, that's fine, but you can just teleport across them. You don't have to get on the beam. You just teleport to the next platform. So it's like, oh well, why is the beam mechanic even there if they're going to give you the option to like just bypass the entire puzzle or whatever you want to call it?
Maybe it's to appeal to everyone. To appeal to the puzzle guy and the guy who's like, I don't want to do fucking puzzles.
Well, it's not really a puzzle. It's just, like I said, it's more of a.
Well, I mean, to the guy who likes to teleport or the guy who likes beams. I don't know.
Yeah.
Appeal to everyone.
I don't know anyone who prefers the teleporting thing either.
Yeah.
I think everyone I've talked to about it, and I've tried it too. There's a few different games that I've played on my VR that only have teleport, and those are games that I just don't play. Like if the only option is teleport locomotion, I just don't play them.
I feel like they're like I understand we want to appeal to the widest base possible. But if someone released a music album and said, I'm trying to appeal to everyone's liking, it'd be probably a terrible album.
Oh, definitely.
Because yeah. And I feel that's not to say this game's terrible. It's not a terrible game. But I feel like that's what's happening with this game is they're trying to appeal to everyone. So they're implementing stuff that is bad. That makes sense. Like one thing I was talking to Tom last night. There's a lot of doorways that you have to get to, and like half the doorway is boarded up from the top down, and then their bottom half is open. So you're like, oh, I gotta crouch to get under the door. There's no crouching mechanism in the game. You just walk up to the door, press forward, and a loading bar pops up. And it's not a loading bar like we're loading the game. It's a loading bar saying like, are you sure you want to go to this next little part? Loads and it goes, and then you just pop up on the other side of the door. And it's like, why did you put the boards there to do that? It doesn't make sense to do that.
It's only there because you have doors that you walk through, and then they decided to have something else, so they have doors that you teleport through. I guarantee it's variety. That's the only reason.
But it's
It feels like
variety.
it's like a showcase, like all these things you can do, and hope the modding community comes and creates something new out of this.
I don't think you mod this game though.
Yeah, but
I don't think that modding community doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, but it could.
It could.
I mean, it could.
Other things with the movement is if you fall off a platform, you don't just fall off the platform. You kind of like fall and then you just like float down slowly. Like, and to me, that's like not immersive.
That has to be a bug. That has to be a
No,
bug, right?
I think it's so that people don't get nauseated when they play, and if they jump off a platform, they don't get that vertigo. Like they're falling. Like I think it's so that they just comfortably go.
Okay, yeah.
"Ooh, I'm floating down." But for me, person that wants it the most immersive at all, I'm just like, oh, what? Why am I moving so slow? This
I
is
want to
weird.
have the vertigo. God damn it!
Uh, what else? Another big thing was so a mechanic they showed off in the trailer was the gloves and how you can like pull things to you and things like that. Um, I think there's some good and bad things about it. It feels really good, like to see an item across the room and you're like, oh, I want to get that item. And you basically what you do is you reach out for it, pull the trigger, and you flick your hand back. And when you flick your hand back, it comes to you. Then you got to catch it. If you don't catch it, it just like hits the ground. Which I kind of like that. Most VR games, what you do is you just look at the item, point, and click, and it just teleports to your inventory or into your hand. So I kind of like the catching mechanism. Uh, Good thing about it, obviously, is you can. It feels really nice, and you can grab items from far away. The bad thing about it is you can grab items from far away. So that makes it to where you don't need to explore because there were times I saw an item like 20 feet away, and instead of me like going over to explore the little area that it was at, I was just like, oh, mine, and just grabbed it and just kept going. So I do feel like it has a longer range than it should, I think. But then it's hard to tell because then again, I found when items were too close, like say an item was it wasn't where I could grab it like physically or within arm's reach to grab
Virtually.
it, but it was far enough where I should do the flick. If it's too close, when you flick it, it's like too close to flick to you, so it's like hard to grab it. So you're like stuck in this little in between. And most games, if it was in that position, you would just reach out, click it, and it'd be in your hand. So it is a little finicky when items are closer to you.
Can you
it
flick
like
with one
when-
hand and take it and grab it with the other hand?
You probably could. Well, no, not really, because one hand has a gun in it, and you don't really let go of your gun. Um, you can press a button to make the gun go away, but then that's like, why would I flick? Press the button to make my gun go away, catch it with this hand, store it, press a button to make my gun come back.
Yeah.
But I could just grab it with this hand, keep the gun in my hand. Now the thing with it being close is just it's so close when you flick, it's like a foot away, so you're like flick, and then you got to grab it like immediately. It's just kind of a timing thing.
Can you crouch down and physically grab it? Or I mean, I say physically, but can you grab things without flicking?
I mean, you can, like I said, there's no like actual crouch in the game. Because I think if you, but you can bend over and like pick things up and things like that, and reach above and pick things and grab things up from up and whatnot. Another thing that was kind of jarring was ladders. Most games, like I actually like ladders in VR games because it feels like I'm climbing a ladder doing this. In this game, you grab a ladder and you do this, it just skyrockets you to the top of the ladder. It could be a 20-foot ladder, and you just grab one bar and do this, and you're at the top.
Really?
Yeah, so
It sounds like they really missed the point of a VR game.
yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying.
All of your complaints, all of them are just that this isn't how VR game. Yeah, that's really frustrating. That like it sounds like almost every mechanic to some degree, and even though they're not bad, it seems like almost every mechanic brings you out of that immersion. That would be definitely frustrating.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that they're wanting to appeal to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, is to make people less nauseated. They're making it less immersive by definition. Like because if you become really immersed in the game, you're going to start, seeing shit and feeling a little dizzy and whatnot. Or most people will, especially beginner VR players. What else?
Whoops. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I don't know how to cancel this. Everyone, chill out. I fucked.
No one can hear us now, right?
Yeah, he's muted.
I'm sorry, guys. There we
Welcome
go.
Back.
Look, there we go. Jesus
back.
fucking Christ.
Back at it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
North, sorry, I was checking Discord. I saw the thing that you said, but if like I don't want to like check Discord too much. If there's something on the overlay, just say, Tom, there's something on the overlay, and I'll be like, oh shit, there's something on the overlay. I should probably take that off. But thanks for telling me.
What else could I say?
One quick question: Do you know if like these are common complaints, or if people are like just kind of overlooking that for the Half-Life?
I saw a lot of people basically on Steam, the 99%, 100% positive reviews, 1% negative reviews. The negative reviews all said the same things that I'm saying. I felt, and then people responded to the negative reviews with, "You're just being a hater, basically."
You're a fucking hater.
So
That sucks.
but again, like a lot of the reviews, they weren't even saying like this is a terrible game. They gave it a negative. They even would say, "I'm giving this a negative review so people can just see that these problems do persist or are in the game, but it's not like the game is bad."
See, that's why I think the Steam review system is flawed in the first place, because you can only give a thumb up or thumb down. Like you can't have a thumb up and then have a list of complaints, but you don't want to give a thumb down and give a list of complaints, because there's always criticism a game can get, but it necessarily doesn't mean a game is bad. With a thumb up or down, it's either it's a good game or a shit game. There's nothing in between. And I mean,
and
who the hell has the time to read all the Steam reviews?
Yeah, and like all the things I've talked about are things that can be fixed. It's nothing like game breaking or this is like, oh well, this game is just garbage because of this reason kind of thing. It's things that could be fixed later on or whatnot. What else? I put so there is like an upgrade system for your weapons and things like that, where you do these small little puzzles, and there's not much to say about them. They're fun. They're not really difficult. It's usually just like grab an orb, and there's like a spot here, and you got to move it over here without making it touch some little items or some other little dots. I mean, it's just simple things, but it makes it a little interactive to instead of just walking up to a box and being like, I want to upgrade, you actually have to like unlock the box doing these little puzzles and things like that. So I like that. What else? I'll say the weapons menu is, there's good things and bad things about it as well. So the weapons menu, let's see if you get where you guys can see me. So you're holding the gun like this, and you press a button on the controller, and basically your 3 guns pop up, like one here, and one here. And then you have like a multi-tool on the bottom. So when you press this button, you just pull your hand up, and then it selects that gun. And you can press the button and go that way. So like swapping between guns is just as simple as going like, I want this gun, I want this gun, I want this gun. You can just do it like this. So for ease of access, the menu for the guns is really good. I like it for that reason. On the other hand, I don't like it because most VR games, traditionally, your guns are attached to your body. And so, you might have your pistols and your pistol holders under your arms here or something. So you have to reach here and pull out your pistol. Maybe your shotgun's on your back. You reach over, pull out your shotgun. I like that because, like, again, it's more immersive than just quick selecting a gun like this. And I wish that they had like an option to choose between the two.
Remember when Trevor complained about the options and how many options there are? And now he's saying he wished there was an option.
Just one. I
yeah,
think
just
I know
one.
exactly the option you're wanting because it's the one I hear that I would want as well.
And yeah, I do agree, Trevor. It would be cool if, even if there are a lot of options, like having that sort of tangible options where having kind of a weapon wheel versus like old school, like you grab and take a gun. That would be a cool option to have.
Yeah, I hope that they do implement something like that because, again, honestly, it wouldn't make a difference because right now there's only 3 guns in the entire game, and I was very disappointed with that because there's 3 guns and they're all basically the same because they at least they feel the same. I'll say because you have your pistol, your shotgun, which is also a pistol. It's just a shotgun pistol. And then you have your SMG, which is just an SMG pistol, which they all feel just like a pistol. Um, you can hold a gun with 2 hands, although I don't think it makes a difference. You actually, like with the shotgun, you don't actually hold the gun. You hold, when you see people shoot pistol, you hold the butt of the gun like this. That's how you hold every single gun. So it feels weird to have a shotgun and you're holding it like this. Like I don't understand. I just truly don't understand why they made every gun. They all look similar too. They look basically the same. There is obviously there's some differences, but in general, they all look like just like a different version of a pistol. They do fire a little different because obviously it's a shotgun, SMG and whatnot. But I was very disappointed with just the lack of weaponry. Again with weaponry, let's see what I write. Oh yeah. I was talking about this is probably my second biggest disappointment with the game. Outside of the snap turn, which was I almost didn't even play the game because of that, because I get disorientated from the snap turn. I just kind of force myself to play it. But anyway, first enemy that you come to, you get to a door. There's a pipe, kind of like locking the door between the door handles. You pull the pipe out. Now you got a pipe in your hand. You open the door, and the enemy's right there. So obviously, I'm like, I'm gonna go hit this enemy with this pipe. I go up to the enemy, start hitting him with the pipe. Doesn't even register. There's no melee in the game, like with the items like pipes and stuff. I don't know why they even let you pick stuff up because you can't do anything with it other than throw it and it doesn't do anything. I just for a VR combat game, I know it's not 100% combat, but it's heavily combat. It doesn't have any melee, and that just blows my mind. It doesn't have that, especially when they give you a melee weapon at the very beginning and introduce you to an enemy. But yeah,
that's
so,
one of those. That's one of those why questions. Why would you do this if there's no melee?
Oh, we'll fix it later.
you can hit enemies with your gun, but again, why would I hit them with my gun when I can just shoot them in the face? It doesn't make any sense to do that.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a pipe in my hand and the gun in this hand. I can hit them and shoot them, or stab them or something.
Yeah, having the gun work as a melee is probably done because on the off chance the player runs out of bullets. But
I highly doubt you'd run out of.
oh yeah, I mean I've seen players play and it's almost like infinite ammo. But on the off
I guess
chance,
maybe if you play on the hardest difficulty, maybe the ammo is less, but
I don't know.
In an abundance of ammo right now.
It's still like I don't understand like because like collision in VR has been done already. The tech exists and everything. So why not have melee in the game? Why can you not use the pipes to bash the enemies? Why can't you pick a box and throw the box and do some damage?
Yeah, there's an entire super fun VR game based around melee combat. So there's no reason Alyx shouldn't have the ability to hit someone with a pipe. Like in Gorn, the VR game, you can like grab someone and literally rip them apart, like rip their limbs off. But and Alyx, that's really disappointing that you can't even hit him with a pipe.
Yeah.
Because of the situation. Sorry, I'm cutting you off, dude. Because of the
fine.
situation with the door and the pipe, and you pull the pipe and the door opens. I have to believe that at some point in the development, they did have some form of melee, or they were planning on implementing melee. Because that situation, if it is like Trevor describes it, like you're holding the goddamn pipe in your hand, and the door opens, and the enemy's right in front of you. Like every fucking single gamer would think at that point, like it's just logical that, oh, I am supposed to hit this enemy with this pipe. And then it's like thonk, and it doesn't do anything.
Yeah. You do have a gun at that point in time as well, but you have a pipe in your hand. you know.
Mm. And you're
It's-
playing a
that's
goddamn
just
VR
like
game.
that's just the Zelda law. You get a new item, you use it to fight the guy. That's just how it works.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, Half-Life didn't get the memo that
Yeah,
whenever you
I
get
don't know.
something new, you immediately use it.
Fucking
Yeah, I even
Gaben.
tried I tried after that, and I was like, well, maybe there was just something fucked up or whatever. So, later on, I grabbed a board and tried to hit people with a board, and it didn't do anything either. So there's just no melee unless you hit them with your pistol. What else? Oh, this was a thing that was annoying for me, and I actually talked to a friend of mine today about this. There are I wouldn't call it a horror game at all, but there are certain areas that I would call horror areas. That it looks like a horror game. Um, it's super dark. You're using your flashlight in your hand, and you can't see anything. And there's noises and all kinds of stuff. And it should be really scary, but it's not because they purposely have a guy that's talking to you in your headset like throughout the game. He's just kind of like your guide, I guess. Um, every time you get into a scary situation, your character says, "Hey, can you make this not so scary for me?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I'll tell you a story." And so while you're going through this scary area, he's telling you how to make a goddamn sandwich. Like he literally, like legit, he tells you how to make a sandwich.
Did you try the
During
sandwich out?
Um,
I mean, that's what I'm interested in now. What kind of sandwich? What are we talking
I don't
about
even
here?
remember. It was a common sandwich. I don't remember what it was now though.
Fuck, man.
He goes through and he tells you like, oh, you have to get this bread, and then you put lettuce on it, and then you got to get this kind of Black Forest ham and put on there. And he goes through it the entire way to make this sandwich, and it just
Uh-huh.
ruins the entire horror aspect because you're listening to a guy describe how to make a sandwich instead of being scared. And it just, I don't know, that would just ruin the entire horror aspect for me.
That's weird
On top of
because
that,
I mean, I know you haven't played the previous Half-Lives, but Half-Life has never obviously been a horror game, but they have implemented horror aspects, and especially Half-Life 2. Probably anyone who has played Half-Life 2 remembers the Raven City level, which is at the time it was probably like very fucking scary. And I remember I played it, and since I'm a huge pussy myself, I was scared. But
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, I know that the game is supposed to be like almost like a Marvel movie. Like it's action, but it has its comedy in there and stuff. Um, but so I don't know. I don't know if it's like if the other games had horror. I guess they did, like you said. But like
Yeah,
I
horror
was talking to my
elements.
I was talking to my friend though about this. I mean, a couple of you guys know him, Daniel. Um, he said he actually read that the game itself was supposed to be a horror game, and they decided to tone it back to
To appeal to
you
everyone.
to appeal to everyone. Um, so I guess they were like, well, we need to keep some horror stuff in there, and then they were like, well, that's still probably too much. We got to appeal to everyone. So let's talk about making a goddamn ham sandwich during.
See, I wanna see the stats on how many people actually made that sandwich and what's the rating on that sandwich.
Yeah. Uh, it was some kind of club sandwich, I think, if I remember correctly. I don't. It's hard to remember. Uh, The voice acting in the game, I say the actors do a really good job. Um, but the dialogue, for me personally, and this is just opinion based, it's a little too like dad joke y. Like it's you know like all the like, oh, this is funny. I'm just like, yeah, that's not funny at all. Like, you know. So I don't personally like the actual dialogue itself, but the actors that did the dialogue, they did a good job. You know. So, and I don't really want to go into story and stuff. So far, the story, I'm probably halfway through the game, and I feel like I've only had two objectives the entire time. So I'm not gonna really go into detail, but I feel like the story so far isn't really much of anything. But maybe that'll change. Maybe something will pick up. Because like I said, I'm only halfway through.
So how many hours are you into it?
Um, I don't know. I can probably look real fast. Let's see.
I'm just curious because typically, VR games aren't super long. So
I am
This
7
is-
hours into the game.
that's not too bad for a VR game.
So when I say I'm halfway through the game, I think there's 12 chapters. I'm on chapter 7, but chapter 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12 could be 3 times longer than the first chapter. So I don't,
Yeah.
it could be way longer, but just based off the chapters, I'm halfway through.
On the topic of appealing to everyone, I want to show. Joe sent this to all of us. This is a graph that shows. Correct me if I'm wrong. The total amount of VR players on Steam, right?
Concurrent. Those are concurrent players. Yeah. So
Concurrent
those are the amount of
players.
people playing at any time at any given time, and there at the end is when Alyx released.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll point it out if anyone's missing. Right around there, March 22nd is when Alyx was released, and then it shot to what's that? 55,000 people concurrent playing
Yeah.
Alyx.
For those that maybe can't read those little gray numbers, it looks like it peaks out in those waves at maybe 17, and yeah, it goes off the chart, literally off the charts at 55, which is absolutely insane.
And
Yeah, it's amazing how many people actually decided to play that. Like all those little bumps earlier, they were like every weekend. So they like quadrupled their amount of players. And I'm not surprised that they had a rocky start at the launch because so many people were trying to play it.
There were a lot of
I wouldn't
streamers
be
had
that-
problems though too. So.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, but that was more like tech issues.
Oh.
I wouldn't be surprised if over the weekend Alyx and it probably is even a number on that chart. Just Alyx destroyed the all-time record for concurrent players. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was the case.
For VR?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. No question. It is definitely going to win Game of the Year, or VR Game of the Year. It is definitely going to win a bunch of awards. And it is definitely going to be the most sold VR game. It is probably already the most sold VR game.
Oh, I can guarantee that for sure. Yeah, I hope it doesn't win Game of the Year just from what Trevor says. I mean, it can be a fine game and it can be a really good game, but I feel like you're missing the whole point of a VR game if 90% of your mechanics take you out of the immersion.
Yeah, I like my overall my final word on the game is it's still a good game. I expected more from it because of I guess the hype and thing, and there are other games out there with smaller devs and stuff like that have implemented more VR aspects to a game. So I just expected more from this game, and I didn't get it. But I would definitely suggest people that have VR to play it. It's definitely a playable game. It's definitely a good game. I would say for a VR game, I would probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. And that's just because, like I said, all the stuff that kind of detracts from it, the immersion and lack of weapons and lack of melee. I think just some of the basic things that should have, it doesn't have.
Look at this hater right here. 7 out of 10. What the fuck, man? It's a 10 out of 10 game,
Why would people say-
motherfucker.
But did you have fun, or did it felt like it was a chore just to get it done?
I want to play it now with that. Well, I'm not going to start over for sure, but I'm going to start playing it with the smooth motion on. And I can tell right now I'm already going to have a way better time with that. So my time that I have played has been tainted by the snap turning and not being able to move like I want to move. So it's hard to give an opinion on, you know.
So you could say that you should always set up your settings, especially in VR games, because it affects how you experience the game.
Oh yeah,
technically.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I saw a lot of people like leave like on Reddit and stuff talking about, oh, there's no snap turn. Well, I'm not playing it. Like they just outright refuse to play it because they're like, that makes me sick, or someone just says that's not immersive enough, you know, to not be smooth turn and whatnot. So yeah, you have to play to your what you feel comfortable with, because if you don't, you're not going to enjoy the game as much as you could at least.
As more VR games come out, certain things will become like kind of meta for every VR game, which the snap turn will continue to be in VR games because it eliminates the motion sickness for some, and I guarantee you that the ability to disable snap turn will be a default in every video game or VR game, so at some point in the future.
Yeah, I don't think they should get rid of snap turn at all, because clearly it helps some people play games that can't handle the smooth turning. So I don't think they should get rid of it. It's just that shouldn't be the only option that you have.
Yeah, there's a lot of, a lot of the VR games that I've played have those options. There's really no excuse to not have that. I think you're right. I think it was a bug from the beginning.
Yeah,
I'm
probably.
pretty sure it was. But then
All right.
the only thing with that is I'm like, that was a big bug to miss. You know?
Yeah.
How did someone not see that? Were they all
Then
playing
again,
on snap turn there?
when Diablo 3 came out, it didn't literally work, so that's a pretty big bug too. So, I mean, there's big
I'll say,
bugs for all games, or not all games, but some games.
We were talking about it's going to win VR game of the year, and I agree it will.
Oh,
I
yeah, no question.
personally think Walking Dead should get VR game of the year right now.
Now we can get into that debate in December probably, but let's move on. We got other stuff to talk about too, and we got about an hour left. So
Told you I did my homework for this one.
yeah, man. Totally did. So the coronavirus has undoubtedly affected fucking everyone. And it will continue to affect fucking everyone. I can't type. I hope that's right. It's probably right. Anyway, 2 weeks ago, when we're supposed to have an episode, I was planning on making a joke that the coronavirus is fucking with our ability to make the episode, just like I made a joke that the Chinese government is fucking with us when we did talk about Blizzard and Blitzchung and all those things. I don't really feel comfortable making those jokes anymore because the coronavirus is literally stopping the entire Earth at this point. But for the purpose of this show, while we're talking about, while I'm mentioning the entire thing is because E3 is cancelled for the first time in E3's history. And obviously, anybody who is even vaguely knowledgeable of what's happening, everything is cancelled. Every major, gathering or event or sporting event, everything's cancelled. Cities and countries are locking down. My government recently locked down or decided to lock down the region I live in. I cannot leave anymore from this place, even if I wanted to. It will not affect my life though, but it's still happening. So yeah, I'm personally bummed about this, but obviously I understand. I look forward to E3 every year, even though I probably riff and raff on E3 more than anything else. But it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah, this is the first time since '96, I think, that they've not had an E3. So
Are
it
they
definitely
just canceling
sucks,
it outright, or are they
Yeah,
postponing it?
yeah. This is
it's
cancelled.
canceled. Yeah. Luckily, though, I think a lot of people may have already been gearing up towards like more digital shows. I don't think like obviously Nintendo does like its Nintendo Direct, so they don't have to worry about it. And then Devolver Digital does a digital thing every year, or a video. So hopefully we'll still get some nice E3 stuff, just not at E3.
Yeah, like a lot of companies. I mean, the ESA said when they canceled E3 that they're looking for alternative options. And a lot of companies, they individually said that they're pulling out of E3, or since E3 is happening, they also said that they're looking at alternative options. So I believe exactly that's going to happen. They're going to have more digital shows, just like Nintendo and Devolver and all those. There probably won't be an E3 event where all of the companies come together and have digital shows within the span of one weekend, but they'll probably be sprinkled whenever they feel ready to have like these events. And personally, I feel like this might be the death of E3. If the model that the companies are going to use this year, if the companies feel like this is what they want to do, then they probably will continue doing it. Because E3 is still restrictive. You have to have a show ready for E3. Be it damned. Now companies can choose. Do I have my show in March? Do I have it in June? Or August? Or whenever the fuck? They can choose when to do it. And they can correlate their event way better with upcoming releases. They can start a hype train like a month before something big comes out. They can also look at other companies and like have their own event when nobody else is doing anything to prop up more hype for themselves. And even though I have a huge affinity for E3, I think this is a testing year for a lot of companies to do their own show at their own, like kind of their own way. And I'm excited to see what the big players are gonna do.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be the death of E3, but it'll definitely hurt it for, well, obviously this year and maybe next year. But I think the hype that E3 generates is too valuable to a lot of businesses to for them to even consider not doing it. Like I guarantee there's probably quite a few developers and producers and stuff out there that are fretting because of the E3 being canceled, because that's where they got the opportunity to get their name out there. I mean, if you think about how many companies you would never hear about on their like indie PC day or whatever, how many little companies that you just otherwise never see unless E3 brought them to the forefront. Like obviously everyone knows Nintendo's going to be fine, Sony's going to be fine, Microsoft's going to be fine, Ubisoft, EA, all those they're going to be fine. But the people that are actually going to hurt from this E3 are those little the things that we've never heard about. And the smaller companies that really this is their only time, because all those other companies can afford to put on $100,000 show and at any time of the year. But I think that there's too many people rely on the publicity that they are given from E3 for E3 to die anytime soon.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. The big players will be fine. The indies probably will hurt. I do think that the indies probably will seek other ways to market their stuff, either through social media or just having I don't know, a crazy publisher like Devolver.
Yeah,
But the Devolver storyline will continue. Yeah, they put a picture up on Twitter, and that's that's the saving grace for me. I wanna see where the Devolver, the fourth year, where will it go?
I'm looking forward to seeing Randy Pitchford magic show on the internet and be like,
fuck Randy and his magic shows.
Instead of E3, I'm gonna show you a magic trick.
No, Randy, get the fuck off the stage, man. Fucking Randy. But honestly, like, not to make this like a PSA or anything else like that. I do want to say that the coronavirus is a huge deal for everyone, and like it or not, you're going to be affected, or you're already affected by it in some way. Stay fucking safe. Don't do stupid shit like lick toilet seats, you inbred retards. And wash your fucking hands. That should be a default even without a fucking global pandemic. For real. And yeah, listen to the World Health Organization. Okay, so here's if somebody's telling you something about the coronavirus, ask yourself, is this person a medical professional? And if the answer is no, then stop listening to that person. That also applies to me right now. I understand that because I'm not a medical professional, but at least I'm shilling for the World Health Organization right now. So it's somewhat legit. So listen to the World Health Organization and your local medical experts, wherever the fuck you live.
I just got one question.
What?
Do you even know anyone that has COVID-19?
Fuck, you got me. The fucking it's a fake virus. No, have you seen video of anybody having the COVID-19 virus?
Yeah.
The answer is no, because it doesn't exist. Nobody has the virus.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'd like to say about it. It is real.
It is definitely real.
Oh, I've seen people, I'm sure some of you guys have too, that just are outright refusing that it's even real. Crazy.
Some people think it's just the flu.
Yeah.
It's not the fucking flu. Motherfuckers. Yeah, I mean, I understand that this is a global crisis at this point, and I mean, shit's real in a lot of places, and it. I mean, I'm worried about things. If gamers are not worried, here's one thing to be worried about though. The launch of the new Xbox and PS5 might be delayed because of the fucking virus. So, I mean, and I don't know if that's true or not, but there's some suggestions about them actually being delayed because they can't make enough of them because of the situation in China or whatever. We'll get the new consoles when Mother Nature decides to stop fucking with us.
Yep.
Wash your hands and don't go outside ever.
Ever. Never, ever, ever.
Even after this.
Even after, yeah. Don't touch people. We're gross. Obviously, because there's not an E3 this year, we won't have an E3 episode, and instead we're just gonna, I'll keep an eye out on the games industry anyway.
Your own E3.
Yeah, fuck it.
Let's invite Randy. I want to see some magic.
I'll shoot him a message on Twitter.
You want to be on our podcast?
Yeah, Randy. We have an average of 5 viewers. He'd be fucking delighted. He's such an egomaniac. He'll probably come.
I'm doing a good deed here. Helping the little guys.
Yeah, the little guys. But yeah, like, instead, like, if other companies are doing, like, I kind of hope that other companies do something similar to what Microsoft is doing, where they have their own, what the fuck is it called, like X Live or some shit. They had like one. What?
I don't know what you're talking about. I thought you were just talking about some online service. So I said Stadia.
Oh no. I saw an article about Stadia, by the way, why there's not games on Stadia. I was supposed to like bring it up last episode. I'll bring it up now. Fuck it. So the big reason why there's no new games on Stadia is because Google is not giving money to the developers. One developer like spoke anonymously, and I hate when developers do that, but I understand why, because I mean, if they do speak ill of a giant like Google with their own name, they probably won't work ever again. But they said that the money that Google offered was so little that he didn't even start negotiating with Google.
Wow.
And like a lot of other developers like echoed that like Stadia is giving so little that there's no incentive to develop games for Stadia. So
I mean, is people still playing with Stadia, or is it just kind of dead in the water now?
I
don't know
assume Joe
anyone
knows
that
most.
did. I never ended up picking it up because I honestly forgot about it. It completely petered out, and every time I thought about it, I was like, "Is it really worth it?" Because I just didn't want to buy a game that I couldn't play after my subscription right now. So.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I fucking Stadia, man.
Yeah.
And now E3's canceled, so there's not gonna be like a Google Stadia press conference or nothing. But I guess that's the positive of this all.
Yeah, I don't know that I've heard. I don't know anyone who's played it, and I don't know that I've heard anything since it came out. I don't think there's been any kind of news coverage, like big time anyway, about whether or not it's good or bad. It just is.
Doom Eternal came out on Stadia,
Nice.
but that was
Nice.
kind of there.
It's there.
Yeah, I mean it's
We're
there.
talking
Yeah.
about the COVID-19. It's a joke to say Corvid now, so I've been saying Corvid on accident now.
Yeah, it's been a running joke on Trevor's Discord.
Nice.
COVID-19. Since we're talking about that and kind of Stadia, did you guys see the GameStop thing that happened?
Mm-mm.
Yep.
A lot of places are, saying non-essential work has to stop. Well, GameStop put out a statement saying, "Oh, well, we're essential. We have to be in business," because their reasoning, I think, was like, we're keeping people inside. If which I could kind of see that in a way, but you're still making people come out to your business. and
See, the
whatnot,
real
which is-
story behind that entire thing is that if GameStop closes their doors,
Yeah.
they probably
there's
never won't open again.
well,
100%.
I know in some places, like I know in Cincinnati, like the governor like mandated they stop, like so they had to shut down no matter what.
Oh yeah, that's what
so-
that's what I mean with the options thing. If you give the option to like close down or the option for people to like not go out, there's always somebody who's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna keep our place open. Oh, we're gonna go outside. Of course, GameStop decides to not close their doors because they literally will go bankrupt if they do.
Yeah.
And I mean, even with the magic power of Reggie, they couldn't save GameStop. Reggie was he was hired as one of their board of directors recently. Even though he lied to us, he said that he's retiring. That lovable bastard.
Truly America's sweetheart.
Yeah, exactly. But E3 is canceled. It's a bummer. Everyone understands why, and life will begrudgingly move on even without E3. And like I mentioned, Doom came out on Stadia, and it also came out on everything else, which is way nicer. I played Doom.
How was it?
Yeah, how was it?
Doom Eternal is an excellent game that anybody who plays first-person shooters should buy. It's going to be one of the best games of this year. Even with the criticism some people had about the game in my Discord.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have it. I'm the reason we can't talk about the plot and go into depth. I'm sorry.
See, I'm not
It should
even.
be
I
here
don't have it
tomorrow.
either.
I'm not upset that we're not talking about plot, because I mean, there, like in the previous, I'm gonna refer to Doom 2016 as just 2016 for this, because it's quicker and more manageable for me. So in 2016 you could also like pick up these audio logs or these, like, you could read stuff. There's same kind of things in Eternal. I read none of them because I don't give a shit. I am the Doom guy, and I'm there to kill demons. I don't care what the history of this place is that I'm killing demons at. Just want to kill demons. And I got to kill demons, so that's pretty hype. That's pretty hype for me. It's honestly like, as a shooter, like, I fucking love id at this point. I don't remember what id did before Rage, and I don't know if id released anything after Rage and before Doom 2016. But I believe that there was nothing there. I personally enjoyed Rage when I played Rage. Yeah, I mean, Rage 2 is not developed by id. Nice try, Sally. I personally liked Rage way back when it came out. I played it. I do recognize that it probably doesn't hold up too much. And then 2016 came out and everybody loved it. And now Doom Eternal is, in many ways, an improvement of 2016. But I do understand those people who think 2016 is a better game. Because it is more confined and more focused in a lot of ways that Eternal is not. Eternal is more grand and bigger and badder and more explosions and more in your face.
You're just naming positive things. How's that negative?
Yeah, I mean, I am. I love Eternal. I really do. I think it's an excellent game. If it's not the shooter of this year, then fuck you, Call of Duty. Because if it's not Doom, it's Call of Duty.
Yep.
And I mean, so there's these where the game shines the absolute most, and the thing that I love most about Doom is there's these arenas. You find a little key that goes for a door, and then you punch a thing, and then you get teleported to a separate location where it's just an arena, and you shoot until you get teleported out. Essentially, you kill everything, and then it's done. The fast-paced nature of the gunplay is so satisfying when you really get into it. When there's a bunch of shit going on, you're moving fast, you're shooting fast, everything is quick. It is by far the fastest shooter I've ever played. It is so satisfying once you get done with it and you win that arena and you get a little key as a reward. It's so good.
Have you tried multiplayer at all?
No, I don't care. Once I beat Doom,
Alright.
I uninstalled the game.
A no would have sufficed.
Was it so that you only won, like, the last one of those arenas, the first try? Every other you had to,
Yeah.
like,
I think
try
there's
over and
either
over again.
six or 8 of those arenas in the game. I think there's 8. Whatever. So they're super hard because they pit you against enemies that you have not yet encountered in the story, and there's just a lot of enemies. I died in every single one of them aside from the last one, and I'd say the last one is the hardest one anyway. But it's so fucking satisfying. And I'm so happy. I'm so goddamn happy that the final boss is actually enjoyable in Eternal as opposed to 2016's last boss. It gets so fucking hectic. It's insane. I mean, I don't. Half the time I didn't even know what I was doing. My fingers moved on their own.
Would you say, I know that Doom is not necessarily like renowned for its story, but would you say that its story is better than the other one? I saw something like that they go in like his, like, no spoilers, but they go into like his backstory or some shit.
Yeah, so I personally did not mind the backstory stuff. It will piss off like big Doom fans. And there is one thing that will piss off longtime fans more than anything else in the game. I won't say what it is, but it will piss off people. It even, like, it was jarring for me too. But they clearly, because I get why people don't like when they give life to the character, and I get why people don't like that, because it's just the Doom guy, and he just kills demons. That's the only thing he does. And he's a badass. He doesn't have a personality, he doesn't have a backstory, he doesn't have a voice, he doesn't have anything. He just has a gun, a helmet, you don't even see his face, and he just kills everything. So when you shatter that image and you put stuff in there, it pisses off some of the people. It certainly will do that. They're making him more human, which I think is the core problem for these people. I don't mind it as much, but I completely understand why people don't like it.
Yeah, it seems like something like they probably were sitting in the back room thinking like, we have to make him more appealing, and making him seem more human will be better. And then it seems like it might be backfiring on him.
We gotta appeal to everyone.
Yeah.
And I mean, it had like what, triple the concurrent players compared on launch compared to 2016.
That's awesome.
It had the like the biggest launch of any Doom property ever.
That's crazy.
Definitely a good game. I mean, truly fucking wonderful. And it has a bunch of secrets, which are not secrets, according to a few people in my Discord. But
not secrets.
I'll call them secrets anyway, because the game fucking calls them secrets. And I enjoy that aspect in 2016 too, to like find the collectibles and stuff. And I'm really happy that they brought the toys back, and the toys are way better in Eternal, because you get no toy is like similar to other toys. You essentially get a toy of every enemy, and then you get like one toy of the Doom guy. And I like collecting that stuff. There's also like upgrades that you can get. There's the classic, when I say classic, the same gun upgrade model from 2016 in Eternal, and the Predator suit upgrade system from 2016 is revamped, where you get tokens, Predator suit tokens, and you use those tokens to unlock like permanent upgrades for different equipment and yourself. The ammo health and the ammo health and armor upgrades are also in there. It's a little different that they do it. I felt that it was a little useless how they did it, but I mean, it's there, so whatever. It doesn't hurt the game or anything. But other than that, like I went into the game like with the mindset that this is gonna be just a shooter, like a really straightforward shooter, and that's what it is. It's never gonna win any award for the story. If it will win some awards, it will win award for gameplay. And that's why I play a game called Doom Eternal. It is because of the gameplay. I will say though, ammo is a huge issue in the game. And that's one of the major criticisms of the game has gotten. You will run out of ammo. That will happen. But I do think that it's a deliberate choice that they've made to force you to use the chainsaw and to force you to use every gun in the game. Because I do think that in 2016, you could very easily stick with kind of one or two guns. Now, I did use the shotgun the most in the game. Because once I just accepted the fact that I have to use the chainsaw, I just use the fucking chainsaw all the time to replenish my shotgun ammo. It's not an issue if you just understand what the game tries to do. But it has been an issue for a lot of people because, and I do understand that too, like because the game is actively taking guns away from you. You like to use the shotgun. Well, oh shit, now you're out of shotgun shells. Now you have to use something else. And I do understand that might piss off some people.
I feel like they're like rubbing the animations all over your face. Like, oh, you want ammunition? Have a cool animation here. You have to do this to get ammunition. Oh, you want health back? You gotta like rip them apart or something like they're just rubbing it in.
I fucking love that.
Yeah, they're cool, but I feel like it's gonna get boring after maybe at the end part of the game.
After 353 ripping someone in half. So.
Or it's gonna be as fun as the first one. Every single time, like, guts and gore.
Yeah, I know you say that's a downside, Tom, but I actually really enjoy that because I played through 2016 technically once, but I played 10 hours in the first time and my save got corrupted, so I had to play it again. And it's only like an 11 or 12 hour game, so I basically beat it. But the first time I played like I would any other first person shooter, and I conserve ammo pretty hard on FPSs, so I was going around and making sure I was getting headshots and stuff, and I used just like one gun. The second time I was just shooting everything. I was running out of ammo and switching guns constantly my second playthrough, because if it was over there, I was already shooting over here before I started turning. That actually excites me that they're forcing you to do that, because the second playthrough and the more funner of the two for me, I was already kind of personally doing that. So I'm that just makes me more excited to play it.
I wasn't bothered by the system because the chainsaw has changed a little bit. Like you get the gas canisters for the chainsaw, but if you run out of chainsaw fuel, there's a cooldown, and once the cooldown is run through, you get one canister of chainsaw fuel anyway. So there's never a situation where you totally run out of ammo. If you just wait a little bit, you can chainsaw a little minion. I had one situation in the game though where the only enemies left were enemies that require more than one canister of fuel, and I had literally no ammo left. And I had no idea what to do, because the melee does no damage. So I had to I had to kill myself and reload the save from an earlier place and just chainsaw more. And I mean, more chainsawing is more fun for Tum Tum, so I'm good. It's a very good game though. Like, it's excellently made. I had no technical issues aside from one crash on launch day. And the second day I played, for some reason my resolution was like wonky and I couldn't change it, but a little fiddling and I got it fixed. But that was I don't know, it wasn't my end or the game's end. I have no idea. It was weird. Very fucking good game. I highly recommend Doom Eternal for anyone who plays FPS games. Buy this instead of the new fucking Call of Duty.
Yeah. Shameless self-promotion. I checked my order earlier and I should be getting it tomorrow or Friday. So if you want to see somebody play through Doom Eternal while wearing the helmet, assuming it fits my head, check it out. Gratitude.
Yeah, it's twitch.tv/Gratitude. All right, from ripping and tearing though
to ripping and tearing.
Okay. Oh, I mean, you've played this next one, so. Let's go to some fun rip and tearing.
Yeah.
Lighthearted. Animal Crossing. Yeah.
The cutest thing ever. I got it and I love it. It's awesome. If you like Animal Crossing games, you'll continue to like New Horizon. They made a ton of quality of life changes in it, and really that's all you can. In my opinion, Animal Crossing, that's really the only thing you can do to make it.
Fuck! I'm sorry, guys. Again. God damn it! I'm so fucking sorry. We're back again.
Welcome back.
Nice.
This fucking phone, man.
Yeah. Anyway, the quality of life changes I think are typically the biggest improvements in those, and they've done a lot. They've streamlined a lot of things because it is and I've noticed this that I'm playing it now because I've gotten a lot more impatient as I've gotten older. There's a lot of dialogue in Animal Crossing that you just can't skip. You just gotta every time. So in the old games, if you wanted to donate something to the museum, you would have to talk to Blathers. He would do some chit chat, and then Blathers would be like, "All right, what do you want?" "Okay, I want to donate something," and you had to give it to him one at a time. And he'd be like, "Oh, it's a flower. I love flowers. Do you want to hear about this flower?" And then there's like a 5-minute thing, and he's like, "Oh, thanks. I will take this flower from you and place it within the museum that you were currently in." And then you have to talk to him again. But now he still talks a lot, but they've made it to where you can do like multiple at the same time. They've made it easier to because on this one, instead of being in a town, you move to a deserted island that you're actually building from the ground up. So everyone that moves in, you pick exactly where their houses are going. You pick where your house goes. Instead of having to replant trees and wait for them to grow, you can just shovel a tree straight up out the ground and put it in your pocket, and then just go and plant it somewhere else. So there's a lot of things that always had me like kind of irked in previous Animal Crossings that is vastly improved in this one. So it's real adorable, and I have been playing it. And it's not one of those games that, at least for me, and I'm sure it's different for other people, it's not one of those games that I can sit down and play for like 5 hours or something. But I have no problem with just sitting there and being like, you know what, I'm Animal Crossing for like 30 minutes, putting it back down, and then picking it back up later, like 2 hours later, and I'll just play it again for a little bit just to occupy some time. And sometimes that's really all you need I just need 20 minutes where I'm going to fish and catch a butterfly.
Hey, man.
Can you like explain me what is the game? I have no idea what is the fuss about Animal Crossing. What is it?
Okay.
And so what do you enjoy doing? What do you enjoy doing there? Like what is it?
Okay, well, yeah, I didn't even think about that. So Animal Crossing is, in previous games, you have been the mayor. You moved to town, or in the last game, you were the mayor. In this game, you're just like the resident something. You're the guy who takes care of like city planning, basically. So the whole point of the game is you move into this town where there's just cute animals that live with you, and everyone's super friendly and stuff. And you just, it's really hard to explain. You just live on this island, right? So there's a museum, there's a shop, and your house, and you do odd jobs for people, and they'll give you money. And sometimes that odd job is just like, oh, I just need you to take this letter over to this other neighbor and bring me back what they give. Resident representative. There you go. Pedally said it. But
it's fucking cool.
Yeah, you are the representative of every resident on the island, because
resident representative.
Yeah. So Tom Nook is the guy that he's a loan shark, for lack of a better term. Every game. I feel like if it has a goal, every game the goal is to pay off Tom Nook. That he gives you a loan of a ton of money, and you just have to say, that's what's kind of jacked, is he's the only shop on the island. So if you want money, you still have to go to Tom Nook. So you take stuff to him to sell. He gives you money, and then you just give him back the money that he just gave you. So you upgrade your house. You get like additional rooms in your house. You get additional floors, basements, and you can customize the house like crazy. You can pick like different roofs, different wallpapers. The decorations in your house have always been super unique. Like to the point where you can play games in the game. I remember in the first Animal Crossing, you could buy arcade cabinets, and you could actually play arcade games on your GameCube through Animal Crossing. And you would just have to take your character into your house and just walk up to the arcade cabinet or the Nintendo and just play it. And he would like pick it up, and then it would like do a black fade, and then it would turn into the game. But I mean, the really the whole point of the game is just be on the island and like customize it however you want. There's a lot of just really charming interactions between the characters. But I mean, really, there's not really a goal in the game. It's an experience. And it's just something really quaint and really charming. Because the characters in it are all super nice, and there's always, not always, but every major holiday has an Animal Crossing holiday, and time passes in real time. And in this one, they actually asked you what hemisphere you lived in, because if you were in the southern hemisphere, it would reverse the seasons properly.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was wild.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So there's, like I said, there's fishing. You can dig up fossils to donate to the museum, at which the museum doubles as an aquarium and an insect zoo. So there's different bugs that you can catch and fish that you can catch, and you put them on display. And you can even go to other people's towns. So you just get on a flight that is on, of course, the Tom Nook owned airlines. And you can just go to someone else's town, and you can visit them and talk to all their people and interact with their shop. And there's not really one particular thing you do. I think everyone plays Animal Crossing a little bit differently. Like I really just like filling up the fossils in the museum. So one of the things that I'll do until my fossils are full is I'll walk around the town, and there's whenever something spawns in the ground, it's got like a little star on the ground, and you dig it up. It can just be trash. I dug up a tire the other day that someone buried in the ground, but it can be a dinosaur fossil, and you dig it up, and you can take it to Blathers, and of course, big long speech, and he'll tell you what it is, and he'll be like, you could donate this. Half the time I don't. I want dinosaurs in my house. So
yeah, motherfucker.
You can just go back to your house, throw down the fossil like it's a piece of furniture, and it'll just be displayed in your house. And that's inevitably, cool. Every time I play Animal Crossing, my basement ends up being a museum.
But it definitely seems like it's not the game for everyone.
No, it 100% isn't, and it's. I mean, I don't even truly know if it's the game for me. But while I'm playing it, I enjoy doing what I do in it. But it's definitely not a game for everybody. If you like to be goal oriented and have like conflict and story and all of that, Animal Crossing is not the game for you. There's no plot really to speak of. There is no conflict. There is no fighting. There is no goal. You just play Animal Crossing. It's almost like I think the big one that a lot more people have played these days is Stardew Valley. It's almost like a pacifist version of Stardew Valley.
All right.
But I mean, if you're into those type of things, I mean, it's pretty much one of the most relaxing games you can play, because there's no stress. I mean, there's nothing like, you just do it however you want. You play it at your own pace, and everything will come whenever it comes.
Isn't Animal Crossing like a super old franchise too?
Not super old. I think the very first one in Japan was on the N64, and then I think on the N64 disk drive, and then whenever it got ported over to America, it was put on the GameCube.
Oh, okay.
Sounds old to me.
Do you think the game is stress-free as the logging?
As the logging?
The longing?
The longing? Have you not heard about the longing?
No, I don't know what the longing is.
What?
But maybe.
I played it. I bought it.
Wait, really?
What?
I saw
Yeah.
the title somewhere, but I didn't look into it.
The
The
longing. Go ahead,
Oh,
Trevor.
you want to tell them?
Go ahead.
The Longing is a game. I don't have no idea who made it because I don't know. But
The dude's
anyway,
crazy.
yeah,
Studio Zeus or something.
so-
I can't pronounce that. Anyway,
you start the game, and this guy that like he's like you're like in an underground cave, and you're like this little tiny guy that's made I think of coal. I think you're made of coal. So, um, anyway, you're like lord or ruler or whatever. He's like, hey, I gotta go to sleep for 400 days. Wake me up in 400 days. And you're like, okay.
And
And
then the game starts, and then you wait
then the game
400
starts.
real
Wait
days.
400 real life days.
Are you playing The Longing right now? Are you playing a game?
could be.
You're waiting right now. You're practicing. Oh, wow. That's
Um,
impressive.
Well,
That's
the
impressive.
game
It's
is-
like-
it literally it's based off real time. So there's a counter, and it just goes off real time. And then when you're not playing the game, the counter's still going. So if I log back in, it'll still say, basically you've been playing for 3 weeks or whatever.
Here's the
Um,
best part of the game, though. You can literally read books in the game from start to finish. You can read Moby Dick in the game.
Yep.
No kidding.
That's wild.
It's based off of like the movements and stuff. Like your character, like he moves like this. Like when you like go here, he's just like
It takes time. If you wanna, if you like,
Yeah.
because you can like every room you can save into your like kind of like some sort of log, and then you can teleport to that room. You can tell him to go to a room. It takes fucking forever.
Yeah.
Like you can get to a place where there's some moss. You need to like jump down, and there's some moss, and the character tells you, oh, the moss will be ready in like 2 weeks. And he means 2 real weeks. So you wait 2 weeks for the moss to grow, and then you can jump fucking down.
So you have to hang on. So you have to actually do things like during the 400-day period?
you don't have to.
No, you don't
You
have
could
to.
literally start the game, close it out, open it back up in 400 days, walk to the guy and wake him up.
But
Has
there
anyone-
are some things you can do.
But
Has
if
it
you
been
want
out long
to,
enough to be beaten?
No.
if you want to explore the cave, then you have to, every few days go in there and figure out where you need to go. The cave is vast and like confusing.
it is pretty big.
because you'll go into a door and there'll be 4 doors in that room, and then that room goes to 4 doors, and that room goes to 4 doors, and
Did
they
you
all
find
go
the
different
map,
places.
Trevor?
No.
There is a map in the game.
Yeah, I'll probably have to Google where that is because there's no way I'm gonna find that
You
shit.
can just wander around for a little while. You got the time.
Honestly, that's what the guy tells you. Like, if you're like, "Hey, go here," he's like, "Well, I'm not gonna run. I got time."
Yeah.
Just barely fucking moves.
That's awesome.
There's apparently also like, so people obviously when it came out a couple weeks back, people started asking like, can you cheat your Windows, like put it like 400 days in the future or something, like somehow cheat the clock. And apparently there's some form of anti-cheat in the game where it like knows if you do some form of thing, it like doesn't work.
I thought about if that would work. I didn't try it, but I actually thought, I was like, I wonder if that would work to do that.
See, I saw Lyric play it the day it came out, and my immediate reaction when I understood what was going on is, I want to buy this game right now and just open it once and then just wait the fucking 400 days and see what happens.
Did you buy it?
No, but I still like I will know when the 400 days is over, so I can look it up.
It's well, I think someone actually did hack it, and
Yeah, probably.
spoilers, it's very anticlimactic.
Yeah, I mean, the entire game is anticlimactic.
Yeah.
I imagine he probably just like wakes up and thanks you, and that's probably the end.
Probably.
Like I can't imagine it being much more than that.
Or something like, oh, that was a nice nap. Now I'm gonna be up for hours. Ask me anything, and I'll go back to sleep. And be like,
Yeah.
But there's
Or
like
even
there's
better.
It's
I don't know.
basically. Was that? I was gonna say it's basically a like a Geopet for your desktop.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's not like what people have been comparing it to. It's just something that because you can have it open and not really. It's not straining your computer. I don't think so. You can have it like just kind of a small window and be like, hey, go over here and do this. And then while he's going to do that, you just do whatever you're doing normally. So it's just like a little Geopad that you have open.
Or you can read Moby Dick
Or you can read Moby Dick.
in game. It has over like 1,200 pages or some shit.
Yeah. It has a lot of books. It actually has a lot of books. You find books and stuff. It's like
Oh, you do
there's
find
actually
books?
things that you can find in the game that help you do other things. So there's actually some kind of like Animal Crossing, just pointless shit that you don't really have to do, but you do it
Yeah.
anyway.
I know you can find pieces for an instrument too in the game, and then you can build an instrument. But I have
Yeah,
not
I mean,
seen.
you do
I
things
have
like
not
that.
seen that.
You can like get a pickaxe and like expand your room, which does nothing other than expand your room for whatever reason.
It's a weird game. Like I would hardly call it really a game. I don't know like what I would call
It's a
it.
Geopet.
I mean, yeah, it's a fucking Geopet, I guess.
I don't know if you would call a Geopet a game. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you feed the guy?
No, he doesn't eat.
No, he doesn't eat.
He picks up coal though.
Yeah.
What's he do with the coal?
I don't know. Nothing.
You can make
Just
like
hold it.
what can you make with it? You can make like a fire. You can make a fire in your fireplace.
That's cool.
Nice.
And it burns
Nice.
until it burns out.
It's a weird game. I imagine though when the 400 days is up, it's gonna jump. It's gonna come out of nowhere on Twitch back, and people like keeping the game up and be like having hype parties.
You can like you can find like different color stones, and then you can use those stones to like draw pictures. And when you draw a picture, it look like the picture you're drawing like pops up on the screen, and you literally see like the markings just go, and they're just going so slow, like he's just drawing the picture. But
He's a cute looking character too. Like I was wondering if I can like use the character as some sort of model for my avatar on Twitch or something. I'm gonna try to find it for chat.
He's just living his life, just out there existing. That sounds amazing.
I'll copy this image.
I haven't played it in like 2 weeks.
That's how
I mean,
the
it's not a
character
big deal.
looks.
Did you check on your moss?
I'm probably about time where I can jump on the moth. I'm probably well after that actually.
It's a weird ass game. Holy shit. Because the art style and everything, it looks cool and stuff, but it like literally has nothing. It is just waiting 400 days. Real days. Did you guys see that Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to PC?
I did. That's awesome.
I also
We talked about it a little bit.
what?
I think we talked about it a little bit.
That
at
is
some point.
impossible.
Yeah, it was only announced a couple weeks ago.
I thought we were like, I don't know, talking or speculating.
Maybe we
Speculating
brought it
might
up
be,
while
yeah.
we were prepping for the last show.
Yeah, that might be because it was supposed to be on the previous show. That happened.
Yeah,
Yeah, there were what I find most interesting in that entire ordeal is, the very small backlash that the announcement got from hardcore PlayStation fanboys that feel like something is being taken away from them for some reason.
PC Master Race.
I could understand if it was like, maybe a month after it released on PS4 exclusively or something, and they were like, and they like changed their mind. They're like, oh no, they released on PC now. I can understand that, but it's been years. Like, who gives a shit now?
Yeah, apparently some people do give a shit. I imagine
Here to me.
because I mean I don't like exclusivities. I know Epic exclusives get a lot of backlash. I don't view Epic exclusives as harshly as other exclusives because I can still play those Epic exclusives on my PC as all my other games. But I would love to have like a game like Bloodborne on PC. I would immediately buy Bloodborne on PC. I don't want to buy Bloodborne on PS4. But it will probably never be on PC. And that sort of exclusivity for me is not nice. But yeah, Horizon is coming to PC. And I do recommend Horizon Zero Dawn. It is a very, very good game. Now, some more tangible backlash that the game announcement got was when the developers said that they're not going to have an FOV slider option for the game, which is a little bit baffling, but I guess we can't win on all fronts.
Whenever that was announced, a buddy of mine immediately just said, "I'm not going to play it."
Because of the FOV or because of the exclusivity thing?
Just because of the FOV thing.
Mm.
He's not going to play it 100% because of the FOV. He
And
thinks
that
that any modern game has absolutely no excuse to not have an FOV slider.
Yeah, I can.
Sekiro didn't have FOE slider, and I think it has like a little too narrow FOE, but still, someone's gonna crack it and make it so that you can't have that.
Yeah, there's gonna be some form of mod for it. 100% sure.
Yep.
Also, quickly before we stop, not because we have time, I was initially not gonna bring this up at all. I played Final Fantasy 15 on PC. Now, I'm not gonna talk about story or anything else because Joe is still in the midst of his ungodly huge undertaking of playing every mainline Final Fantasy minus the MMOs. But I'm going to talk about my experience with the game. I played originally Final Fantasy 15 on PS4 when close to its release, and I absolutely fucking hated it. And the reasons I hated it were mostly because of the ungodly long load times, the fucking car, and the goddamn side quests that were the shittiest side quests ever imaginable. Now, thankfully, and the hunt system, they, for some reason, I can say this because Joe is playing 12 right now. In 12, the hunt system is you go to the notice board and you pick all the hunts you want to pick up. You can pick up everything if you wanted to. For some fucking reason, I don't understand how this is possible. Final Fantasy 12 came out on PS2 and Final Fantasy 15 on PS4. When you go and pick up a hunt, you pick up one hunt. And that's it. If you want to pick a second hunt, you have to forfeit the first hunt and then pick a second hunt. I don't know how they fucked an fuckable system, but it was somehow done. Now, all of my complaints have been addressed for the game, except the side quests. I mean, you can't change them anymore. And they put the game on Game Pass, so I thought, fuck it. I mean, I'm already paying for this service, so why not give it another try? And I actually finished the game. And I'm very glad I did. And without getting into any form of story, I'll say this. By the end of it, I cared way too much about those 4 fucking characters that you play with. And I'll say the same thing as Skill Up said on YouTube. Final Fantasy 15 is the worst video game I've ever loved.
Solid. Yeah,
And I do
I'm looking forward
recommend
to
I do recommend playing, Joe, the version on Game Pass if you're still having Game Pass whenever you get to that point. Game Pass version also. What?
I am looking forward to 15 quite a bit. I've heard good things overall about it.
Yeah, it when I played it on PC, I deliberately skipped a lot of the side missions, the side quests, because I knew that they're crap. I found myself doing the fishing mechanic a lot, or like participating in the fishing thing. By far, like from any game that I've played that has fishing, Final Fantasy 15 does fishing the best. I legitimately got way too into it. And I legitimately was out there in the world hunting for lures and shit and like trying to get the big fish.
Solid.
And I'll say the PC version that's on Windows and Xbox Game Pass, it has, if I understood this correctly, I did not play it myself, so I can't really confirm it for myself. I do believe though that they have the DLC episodes, so episode Prompto, Ignis, and Gladius. And those 3 episodes give a shitload of more story to the game that I think should have been in the game in the first place. I didn't play them because I know the plot of those DLCs already, so I do appreciate them for what they did. I do think that those should be in the base game. And the main villain of the game is a little undercooked. And there's other media where they explore the main villain more. And I think that should have also been in the base game, which it is not. I also know the plot of those things, and I appreciated the main villain way more knowing, and I realized that not knowing makes him a very carbon copy villain that has no motivation nor plot. And that is a little bit of a bummer. But I ended up enjoying 15 way more than I thought, because I already had such a negative out view of the game. But it looks super pretty. The combat is very basic. Literally hold down a button and you win. That's what it is. You can make it more intuitive for yourself if you want to. I certainly did. The final dungeon is also, I think the final dungeon is revamped. It was one of those things they changed. I never played the original final dungeon, but the revamp at least was, 1, very challenging, and 2, it had some mechanics in it that I wish were utilized more in the game. But we can't win on all fronts. So yeah, 15 is definitely a game that it's the worst that I've loved. I really hope that the remake of Final Fantasy VII will blow me away, though.
Yeah, that's right around the corner.
Guess who's on vacation when that comes out? This guy.
And who's never wished he was less important than that? 'Cause I wish I could stay home. That's what I'm trying to say. I wish I wasn't as important as my work at my work, because I would much rather work from home so I could play that the whole time. Curse you, essential garbage. Why do people need the internet?
Yeah, apparently. Who the fuck needs the internet?
Yeah.
Greedy sons of bitches.
For real, just let me go home, guys.
Yeah. I have one more shift tomorrow. I'm working from home. I have a company laptop right over here. I work today from home, and I'm gonna do it tomorrow, and then my vacation starts. So I'm looking forward to not only FF7 but also RE3 remake will definitely be streamed on my channel. I am, on some levels, I'm more excited for RE3 because I know that it's a game that I can start and finish in 2 streams, whereas FF7 has a risk of being very, very good for a few days and then I'll just get tired, which is something that happens a lot with me with super, super long RPGs.
I'm worried the opposite is going to happen. Then it's going to be super, super good for a few days and then you're done with it. Like, I hope that it has more gameplay than a few stream sessions. I hope I want it to be pretty long.
You just gotta embrace it. The same way I embraced Sekiro. Like, it was amazing 100 hours. And I feel like I can't really get back into it anymore. So I just like embrace the memory of that game.
Played
I
that
mean-
game like 12 times in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which was wild. That's still. I thought about that the other day. Someone was brought Sekiro up, and I laughed, and I still can't believe you beat it so many times in a row. That was awesome.
Sekiro is a good game too, though. Really, really good.
Never
Sure.
beat it.
The,
Has anyone played Neo 2 yet?
No.
No, I think like in my mind it has been like pretty swept under the rug.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Another game
it's
that
fun.
actually came out like yesterday, me and Sully were talking about this, is Bleeding Edge, which is this
Oh,
new
yeah.
kind of
I forgot about that.
like Overwatch style MOBA,
Oh,
I
it came
guess.
out?
Yeah, it's on
Oh.
Game Pass, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's Ninja Theory's game. The dudes who made Hellblade and shit. Like this is a major release for them, and it completely under everyone's radar.
Mm-hmm.
I looked into that game and it looked boring as hell. Like, for,
You say boring
can't-
as hell, and just as Sully said, I dig it so far.
Yeah, because Sully told me like multiple times, like, "Oh, this Bleeding Edge looks cool," and I think we talked about it like 4 months ago, and we just like forgot about it because it just didn't seem anything special. If it's just gonna be another Overwatch, I'm just gonna play Overwatch.
I downloaded it.
Oh,
You
nice.
did?
I imagine it'll be just another a different skin to Overwatch, but that doesn't mean it can't be fun. So hopefully it's entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play it too. I mean, why not?
Yeah, all of us have Game Pass. If it's free, why not?
Yeah, North, you're just dead inside. You fuck.
Yeah, I'll just play Siege.
Yeah, I mean,
Wait, Hunt with us.
Hunt is. I
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
say about Hunt though, because I started playing Hunt way back with North and Trevor, and I didn't hate the game, but ultimately I think my experience with Hunt back then was not that good. Now I've started playing Hunt again with Trevor's friends that are now my friends, and
My
I mean,
better friends.
factually like
Wow.
they're Trevor is just a lesser friend for them than me. I'm a better friend for them than Trevor is, because I win the games for those guys. And I mean, but honestly, like playing Hunt now, I've changed how I played Hunt myself, and I play it because I play it differently and with a new primary weapon and doing axe runs because that's fucking insane. I love the game way more. It's a way better game for me right now because I changed how I play it. This has never happened for me with any game ever. And it's odd for me to see because it opens up a door. It makes me question what other games have I dismissed because of the way I play them? And what games have I missed out on because I refuse to change how I play a game? And I mean, I have no answer for that or anything, but Hunt is super cool. I like Hunt way more now than I did ever before.
Can't lose with axe runs.
Axe runs is the fucking dopest.
So,
What can you do when a maniac is running towards you? Axe held up high. And I don't know, I'm internally of course screaming. The lot of the player can't hear me, but I'm coming and I'm axing you down.
I
for
want to
anyone
ask
who
you a
doesn't know,
question.
it's basically like a first-person shooter, but the melee axes are the best weapon in the game. Because like you have teams against teams, and your guns don't shoot that fast. They're very slow. They're like they're like Western revolvers and shit. So they
Yeah, Wild
shoot
West
very
kind of
slow.
guys.
But an axe doesn't really need to reload or anything.
Mm-mm.
So when 3 people run in all with axes held high, the people inside just don't know what to do. They freak out, and sometimes they don't even shoot. They just stand there and they freak out, and then you just run up there and just chop their head off, basically. And we've taken out like 2 or 3 teams with not shooting a single shot.
And it's like, okay, so let's say that the player shoots and he shoots one down. By the time he has like reloaded his lever action, whatever gun or bolt action rifle, he has 2 people swinging the axe already. There's no way of winning. Axe runs are dope.
The only way you lose with those is if you get caught, like basically just out in the open outside. And then even sometimes with that, you still can win those. But that's the only time you can possibly lose. It's just when you're caught outside in the middle of nowhere.
I love axe runs. They're the best.
Have you considered using bayonet?
Fuck the bayonet.
Yeah, fuck the bayonet, man.
The axe costs $5.
Yeah, and it's a one-hit kill anyway.
Yeah. Bayonets, I don't even think they are one-hit kill. Unless you hit them in the head.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's like the knife.
But yeah.
Okay. That was a bunch of Animal Crossing talk.
Yeah, about axing people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I have one question about Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you start the game and just absolutely do nothing, does the town like collapse at all? I'm assuming it doesn't. This is kind of a feel-good game.
It doesn't collapse, but what does happen is weeds start growing all over town. So it actually does become a little unkept. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
So,
how they
like,
hook players.
Whenever you first get on, there's just weeds everywhere, and you kind of if you want your town to look nice, you've got to go around and pick the weeds. And if you stop getting on, then the weeds are just going to keep overrunning the whole town. Yeah.
yeah, that's some
That's not
drastic
good.
measures there.
And people move. I don't know if they do in this one, but if you don't get on for a while, people leave. They'll move. They'll move to a
What?
different town. Yeah.
That is so
You
shitty.
can just have an island to yourself then.
You could if you just waited long enough, you could have just an island to yourself. For
That's
sure.
so shit. I'm being serious. That's so shitty. Because
That's
you're
just always how it's been. You'll get on if you haven't been on in a while. You go to where their house was, and there will just be like a note sitting on the ground, and it'll just be like, "Hey, I moved. Later, loser." And
Good.
sometimes they'll move to that. Like they don't just disappear. Sometimes they legitimately move. I've like one person has moved from my town into a friend's town. They will actually move to other players' towns.
That's funny.
That's so
Yeah,
fucked.
it's yeah. I mean, stuff does happen. And like if you're gone for a few days and you come back and talk to people, they'll tell you how much they miss you and stuff, and they haven't seen you in a while. And
The
yeah.
game's like crack. It's literally addicting you to play it more. And it's punishing you if you don't play it.
Yeah.
My god, all along, I've been rambling about loot boxes and how unethical they are. This is the shit. This is the real devil. Fucking Animal
The
Crossing.
entire game just turns on you.
If you don't play the fucker, you get punished.
And literally goes to other players.
Yeah. I don't know like how it decides, but I know that there have been times where people have moved from my town into another person's town.
That's so fucked.
I can just see that, like your friend being like, "Dude, Janice moved into town." And you're like, "That bitch moved to your town?"
Fucking Janice.
Yeah, and what's weird is like you can go there and talk to them, and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you in forever." It's pretty weird.
It makes you feel bad and stuff.
It definitely does guilt trip you a little bit. Yeah.
Guilt tripping 101.
Yeah,
If you don't play the game, I'm gonna move out of town.
Fucking Animal Crossing.
Yeah, there's something else that happens too. I can't remember what it was.
God damn.
But yeah, it is kind of funny how it does that. But you can, yeah, the people will say that they. Oh, right now I only have 2, so I don't think. Now that I think about it, I don't think everyone will move away. I think there is a minimum. I've got 2 people. One of them's a pink pig named Cobb. He calls me hot dog.
Oh man, nice.
Yeah, just at the end of every sentence is just hot dog.
Oh, yeah. Watch out, Cobb. He'll become a fucking hot dog if you continue that, so to speak.
I just have to keep logging in every day to make sure that Cobb doesn't leave. I like being called hot dog.
All right. Now I can do that. And oh shit, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Okay, I think we're good. Nice.
Well, yeah, I'll talk shortly to the end here.
you?
Siege released a new battle pass. not to confuse with season pass. It's something you have to pay 10 buckaroos so you can get it, or you can get it like 30% off if you have the season pass. So basically, it has a bunch of skins and stuff you unlock when you play the game, similar to like I don't know Fortnite Battle Pass or whatever they have. But it's kind of weird because you have to buy 2 passes, or it's recommended that you buy 2 passes because you have to get the season pass, so you get the discount on the battle pass. You have to like
Also
weird.
called shitty business practices.
Yeah,
Goes by the same name.
or Mastermind sell them like 4 season passes. How's that?
So there's a season pass, and then that lets you buy the battle pass.
You can buy the battle
Or
pass, but
discount.
it will cost you more.
They're literally selling you 2 things.
Basically, they're selling you as in the season pass, you get all the operators, but the battle passes is something that happens 4 times a year, and they will contain mostly skins and the in-game currency and stuff.
That is the only saving grace, that it's like not important stuff for enjoying Siege.
But every single item on the list is basically a limited time skin.
That's
So,
because FOMO is a real thing.
Yeah, if you don't get all that shit in 1 month, it's gone forever. You can't
Also
get it.
called shitty business practices.
Yeah,
So did you get the battle pass?
totally. I got it.
Of course
already.
Too bad
But-
it doesn't help with his aiming.
Yeah, but I can always pay extra to unlock 12 like what's it called, like tiers. If I pay more, I get like
Of
further
course.
into the pass instantly.
Of course. Yeah.
Money,
Also
money, money,
called
money.
shitty business practices.
Yeah, but why would you pay for that if you're just gonna like unlock it anyway by playing?
Yeah, I'm almost certain I've said this once on here before, but if you have to offer your players a way to play less of your game, then it's probably a shitty game. Like I shouldn't want to have to skip, like 10 hours of grind. I shouldn't want to have to do that. I should want to play your
Yeah.
game and eventually get that weapon.
I do still think though, even though I'm shitting on Ubi right now a little bit, I think Siege is the best first-person shooter, competitive first-person shooter around right now. I enjoy Siege immensely, but I don't care about skins. I don't care about weapon skins, character skins. I don't care about XP boosters. I don't care about. The only thing I care about is the operators, because they change how you play the game. And
I, on
because
the other hand, I go for the vanity stuff instantly.
that's because you're a shallow person.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
gotta
Get it
look
in there,
like a
man.
rainbow unicorn when I'm playing,
Yeah,
brah.
So it has a single player story to it, doesn't it? Siege
No.
does?
No.
No, it's only multiplayer?
Yeah, but you can play like only against bots if you want to.
Yeah, you can play the terrorist thing, which is against bots. I mean,
I gotcha. I haven't played a Rainbow Six game in, gosh, probably 10 years, I bet. Maybe more.
if you remove Siege, nobody has played. That's basically it.
Now, hang on. Didn't some people play that other one, the Wildlands or something? Didn't like 4 or 5 people play that one?
Yeah, I mean that's not a Rainbow Six game though.
I
Oh,
think
it's
the
not. Is it
latest
just a
one is
Tom
like
Clancy game?
Yeah, it's
I
a
think the
Tom Clancy,
latest-
but not Rainbow Six.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
I think it's called something like Rainbow Six Las Vegas or something, like the latest one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
before Siege. Yeah.
Yeah, before
Gotcha.
Siege.
I assumed that Wildlands was a Rainbow Six game. I didn't even realize.
No. Because I mean, Splinter Cell is also Tom Clancy. It's not Rainbow Six. He has like a bunch of properties. I think Ghost Recon is. I mean, it's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Okay.
So it's part of the Ghost Recon thing.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I've only.
Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon, Wildlands, Rainbow Six.
Division.
Mm. And yeah, the Division is also Tom Clancy's.
So many titles.
Yeah, exactly. They could just remove like Tom Clancy's name from them entirely.
Mhm.
It just racks up fucking money though. If he's not dead. I'm not sure. Is he dead? Because I don't even know who the guy is. I know he's an author.
I question he's a real person.
Oh, he's definitely dead. He died in 2013.
Oh,
yeah,
rip.
the Splinter Cell guy, he died.
Yeah.
Rest
Yeah.
in peace, Splinter Cell guy.
Yeah. Well,
Well, on that note,
yeah. He's dead. Thanks for watching, everybody. That's our show.
Yep.
And
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much for real.
Yeah, for real. That's the end of it.
Yep. We're gonna be back in 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
probably.
I'll tell
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you how much I've unlocked with my battle pass and how cool I look with the new skins.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully I'll get to play Soma or stream it at some point.
North had a badass stream earlier today.
Yeah. I didn't play anything. I was troubleshooting all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was like the first thing I asked whenever I joined the call, Trevor, and I felt so bad because he was like, "Yeah, I didn't get to."
Yeah, so the next podcast will be the 8th of April, which is the second Wednesday. It is 2 days before Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out. But when we do the next episode, I have played RE3 at that point. That'll be one thing, and hopefully Joe has played Doom, so he can also discuss his opinions on Doom.
What was Oh no, wait, Cyberpunk got delayed again. Never mind.
What again? What?
Well, it got moved back to September. I was
Oh,
thinking
yeah,
there was
yeah.
a third big title like around this range, and it was Cyberpunk that I was thinking of. But it
Oh
got
yeah,
moved
yeah.
back.
Yeah, that's in September.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. We're
Stay safe and stay healthy.
Yeah.
Wash your
Stay
hands.
indoors.
Wash your fucking hands.
And no handshakes. Use like finger guns or something like that.
Yeah. Pew, pew.
Just
Yeah.
wink at everybody like this.
Yeah, don't
buddy, how you
like depending on where you live, don't do this because somebody might shoot you.
Yeah.
And if you can't wink, do a tribal dance or some shit. I don't know.
Do a shaman's rain dance. They'll get it. They'll understand.
Exactly. All right, everybody, wave. Bye.
Okay, bye.